Well, it's that time again, the time where I talk about potential future projects. Note that this is not an announcement of any kind, it's just sort of an update to tell you what I've been up to lately in regards to, as I said, potential future projects. So I've been looking into the possibility of maybe someday Let's Playing Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Note that this is, if I do them, or rather Prime 1, Prime 2 is impossible currently for reasons that I'll explain soon, but it's not going to happen right after Star Road. I've already decided what I was going to do after Star Road, and that is not Metroid Prime, so this is more a long-term planning of sorts. So I tried to see if I could potentially Let's Play Metroid Prime with my current setup, and at the beginning I was fairly optimistic because of how flawlessly, well, not really flawlessly, but Wind Waker went really, really well. There were a few hiccups here and there, but I managed to do the entire Let's Play just fine, and the problems, well, you didn't get to see for yourselves. It was all behind-the-scenes stuff, but yeah, I was optimistic. Well, I shouldn't have been, because Metroid Prime, as it turns out, is a lot more demanding on a computer than Wind Waker is. Well, no surprise there, because the graphics are just so much better, so much more detailed. Note that this is not, I'm not making a statement about how Wind Waker's graphics sucks or something like that. It's just a statement as to, the technical side of things. And it's just, where is that thing? Where is it? Okay, here we go. So, yeah, Metroid Prime is a lot more demanding on a computer than Wind Waker was. Now, I did a full playthrough of the game after finding settings that would allow me to get a consistent 60 FPS, which was a challenge because I had to turn every setting pretty much all the way down in order to have a consistent 60 FPS, and even there were some areas that were more problematic than others, mostly some rooms in Magmoor Caverns. Fiery Shores and Magmoor Workstation were especially tricky for some reason. I don't know why these two rooms, but other things that I expected to have more trouble, like Geothermal Core, for example, went by perfectly. And in other areas, there was barely any slowdown at all. Well, of course, I say barely. That doesn't mean that there was none, but the biggest hiccups that I encountered were those few rooms in Magmoor Caverns and the fight against Ridley, as well as the room it takes place in as well, because it's just so massive, and there's the whole thing in the background beyond the temple and stuff. So yeah, just being in the room without the Ridley fight, it was just wow. There was a good bit of slowdown, but I thought maybe if that pace could be kept up for the fight against Ridley, it would be okay. Which of course it wasn't. It was much slower during the Ridley fight. So, and we're talking here about falls every now and then to like 30 FPS whenever either me or Ridley would attack. It was just an absolute mess of a slowdown that made the thing, well, not unplayable, but very not visually appealing. And by my standards, this was unacceptable. So I set out to find a solution to this, and as it turns out, I did some research, and it turns out that for every game, Dolphin has a .ini file that has settings that would bypass the default Dolphin settings that you input in the options menus and stuff like that. And basically, one of these settings was maxed out. Well, technically, it's not maxed out per se, but since it's the best setting available, I'm gonna refer to it as such. So yeah, basically the game is forced to be run with that particular setting maxed out, even though it was turned down a notch in the actual Dolphin settings. So what that setting setting does, basically, as far as Metroid Prime goes, is that if it's not maxed out, the thermal visor and the X-ray visor will not work. So basically, what you can do if you want to get decent frame rate in the Ridley fight is go inside the INI file and change the setting there. It's a text file. You just change. I think it's false for a true. I think that's it. But yeah, that's what you do, and you can get much better frame rate that way, but at the cost of not having the thermal visor and the X-ray visor work. So, and you don't need either of them during the Ridley fight, so that is probably the way I'm going to do it if I ever LP Metroid Prime, is that I'm going to just edit the INI file just for the Ridley fight, and maybe up until the point where I get the thermal visor as well, just so that the game runs more smoothly for the first half of the LP or so. So once that was done and I did my full playthrough, god damn it, so many random encounters. It was so bad in the water and now on land, but still. Now, if I knew I could play the game, but could I let's play it? And by that I mean record it. Well, I had a few problems with that too, because the codec I usually use for recording non-portable games, such as N64 and GameCube games, well, the codec I use, even though it was set to record at 100 frames per second, it actually recorded at something that's closer to 30 frames per second, which was quite clearly visible because there was a lot of stutter in the video. So I had to change settings, not in Cam Studio, but in the codec itself. And at that point I was just winging it. I was just trying random stuff and see if it would work. And something did work. That took the frame rate up to 50, 52, 53, which was far more acceptable. And then there was the whole matter of editing in Movie Maker. I had issues with Movie Maker as well. But I managed to solve it by not using the default option for whenever I'd save the WMV file. What I do instead would be to choose the option that tells you, make a file this large and just crank it all the way up. For example, if the default option is to, have a 100 megabyte file, just turn it up to max, which is going to be usually around double. So it would be 200, 210, 220, something like that. So I did manage to have a decent output file, and as a result, I'm glad to announce that I'm now fully set up. I'm able to LP Metroid Prime 1. Echoes, on the other hand, that is a no-no. Because just messing around with it in a completed file for a few minutes, I could already find quite a few problems with it, but I guess I'm not going to talk about that today because I'm coming up on that huge Menace trainer I was talking about. So I'm going to go with Zekrom in the lead, and I'm going to be commentating the fight, so I'm going to have to stop story time with Slowflake here. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to it next time to explain what's wrong with Metroid Prime 2. So, here we go, Zekrom in the lead because he's leading with Gyarados. Yes, I looked it up before I started recording. Is that cheating? No, I don't think so. So if you have a problem with that, well, I'm trying to stay polite here, but I am apparently not innately polite enough to come up with something. So, Intimidate, I'm hoping it doesn't put Fusion Bolt outside of KO range, because that would be absolutely terrible. Is that going to be the case? No, Zekrom's massive attack power still managed to overpower this Gyarados, so that's 1 down, 5 more to go. Druddigon, well, the only thing I have that's super effective against that is my Lotix Blizzard, so I'm going to go with that. Now, Druddigon is quite the slowpoke, so I'm probably going to go first. Blizzard connects, and is it going to be a one-hit KO? No, not even close! An Outrage! Holy crap! That is going to hurt so much. Okay, now I'm playing craps. Blizzard connects or I'm dead. I'm alive! Good, good. So, Dredagon goes down, and I was really worried there because if I didn't kill it, it was going to kill me. Snorlax, well, Mienshao is the obvious option here, so we are going to see just how powerful its high jump kick is against that fat tub of fuck. It's got 160 base HP, but quite a bit less defense, though. It's especially defensive Pokemon through and through, with that massive HP definitely makes up for the defense, and Snorlax actually went down in one hit. One high jump kick ate through all that HP. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't do sustained vowels like that anymore because I tend to cough whenever I do that. So, U-turn out. I was about to do a fusion bolt to it, so what's it going to be? Gigalith. Oh, great. I'm not going to be doing much damage to that thing. Even though, you know, it's just Mono Rock, I guess it's better than Rock Ground in that aspect. So, at least the Sturdy is broken, so I have to switch there. So I'm going to go with Mienshao once again, feeling pretty confident that Mienshao will live whatever it can throw at me, which is an Earthquake. Actually, pretty decent call considering it was facing a Zekrom just now. So, let's go with Drain Punch to recover whatever little HP I lost from that. And, of course, since Sturdy was already broken, it's not going to be a problem anymore. So, let me guess. It's going to send out Crobat once again, then U-turn out to its final team member. Whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. I just know at this point that this Crobat has got U-turn, and that it will probably use it again. Well, I'm going to go with my strongest move once again, Fusion Bolt. So, U-turn, as expected. And what is the last Pokemon? Because I don't remember. No! You have got to be fucking kidding me! Well, gonna have to go with Dragonite here, if only to avoid the impending Earthquake, as well as any possible subsequent ones. Of course, it's probably got Rock Slide as well, but, no, Drill Run instead of Earthquake. Scratch that. So, Rock Slide, as expected, how much is it gonna do? 98 damage, so, Waterfall. If it's a 2-hit KO, I'm fine. It's probably not going to be a 1-hit KO. Okay, I'm good unless this upcoming Rock Slide criticals or flinches me or whatever. No hacks. Please, no hacks. Yes! Here we go! Excadrill goes down, and the battle is pretty much won at this point, since all I'm going to have to do is just send Zekrom back out to take care of that Crobat. Of course, I'm going to have to take another attack, but I'm not really worried about that since it kept spamming U-turn in my face, so it probably doesn't have anything that's particularly effective. Poison Fang, as I said, not the best thing against a Zekrom, even though it was neutral, and Crobat will undoubtedly go down after this. Yep, so that was arguably the hardest regular trainer in the entire game, and possibly the entire series. And it was tough. I won't argue against that. It was tough, especially since my Pokemon were a bit worn out from all these random battles, but I still managed to come out on top. Now I'm going to heal my Pokemon with items, no less, before I stop recording. Because, well, if I use my HP recovering moves, well, I'm just going to put myself into a dangerous situation if I decide to do that. So I'm going to go with a fresh water on Zekrom, 180, pretty good. I'm not going to need to do much more. I'm going to use that Moo Moo Milk on Milotic. Okay, once again, pretty good. Use my last Moo Moo Milk, okay, and a Hyper Potion on Dragonite, who took those Rock Slides from Excadrill like a champ! So, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to keep going into the Challenger's Cave and hopefully get out.